Hey, welcome on board to another edition of Spring Trends right here on Western Spring Television. This is where we talk about everything trending, what's trending, who's trending, why they are trending, and what are people saying about the situation on social media. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei. I'm always delighted to have you on board with me. Femi Ojo is here, is what I call my ride. I don't want to say or die, but then
no, die no day. Just right.
He's always with me, and I appreciate his time a lot of the time.
Thank you. You say Femi Ojo, S-A-N, in view.
In view.
In view.
Have you even started? Have you bought the form?
View is
Are you even a lawyer?
We form. You don't even know how we work in this our department.
Wait,
don't worry.
Are you a lawyer?
Don't worry.
You are not a barrister. You want to become S-A-N?
Femi Ojo, Esquire, S-A-N, in view.
Amazing. All right, let's just
good morning, everyone.
Let's just get right into it. My very first story this morning. It's always good to talk about Mr. President. And of course, he is back from his 2 days visit to Qatar. And, you know, it went there to try to woo investments from Qatar into Nigeria, because we all know that we need all of the investment we can get at this time. So, Vice President Shatima Wike Baja, along with others, welcomed Mr. President upon his return from Qatar. And people always have issues with the fact, with that, you know, I know it's protocol, where the president will be coming back from a trip, and you see his ministers, some of his ministers, and all of that. Who traveled with him.
Will still line up
to greet him and say, welcome back, Mr. President.
I think that thing should be abolished.
Let's watch this video. We'll be back to take reactions. All right, that's Mr. President there, welcomed back into the country by his ministers and some of his aides. And you can see the red carpet there for the #1 man in the country. Let's see reactions on social media, and we'll come to Femi to take his reaction at Ama_Chika. Says there is no international support from Qatar that will fasten productivity in Nigeria, considering that the nation is not a technically inclined nation, and they earlier rejected the visit until President put more pressure to convince them so that he would take 37 people alongside him to waste the limited taxpayers' money when people are stranded due to hunger. And at Tunji, with a lot of numbers at the back of his name, Olatunji Olaleko says, I believe that it was your personal opinion. Governance doesn't run in isolation. You will need international support to ensure your objectives. Current economic conditions shall become things of the past with proper reform and cooperation from the citizens. Femi, what is your take? Firstly, talk about the delegation that went with him to Qatar. The president said 20 for international trips, but we saw 38. And of course, we saw the first son, should I say the first and second son of Mr. President on that trip, also on the line, exchanging pleasantries with
first set of lines.
First set of lines, even before the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Finance. What is your take on this matter?
As one of our backroom, producers will say, the Idon is back.
Idon, that's what they call.
That's Idon Lagongo. He's back. But for that contingent, that was ridiculous. And I think that is an own goal for the president. He gave his word. It was categorical. There were statements to this 25-man team when he's within the country, 20 outside the country for whatever it is. Now we saw a list of almost 37, 38 with the first two sons, being there. And in fact, it was quite ridiculous. But then we shouldn't let that water down, possibly what he went for, he's the #1 marketer of Nigeria.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He should be the one, doing the damage control. I saw him when he said, well, whatever has happened in the past, it has happened. But then moving forward, we have a new set of people in charge. Now, nobody will compromise your business. You are free to bring in your money and pull it out whenever you are done or whenever you feel like it. And if anybody is trying to harass you or bribe you, let me know. Now, the issue is he has given some word, just like part of this his traveling team that he hasn't akin to. You know, he will not be the one to be counting them. Oh, I'm going to stay that way. 1, go, 2, 3. He has a protocol. You know, so what is the job, the job of the man? The chief protocol officer is that tall man that is always in front of him, you know, to say, President, this way, this way. He's the one that should see to these things. So is the president saying one thing and they are disobeying him on another thing? And if I had to be the president, I don't have to count them. There is a way I can say, give me the list. I want to see. I want to be a man of my word with my people.
Yes.
So nobody will blame the protocol officer. Nobody will blame Tinubu. The buck rests at the table of the C himself. Now I say, come for business. Let's do whatever we have to do. We give him the benefit of the doubt. But then this is what causes that widening gap of distrust. Yeah. There is no way you can tell other persons now to say, Tinubu say this. They go say, leave me alone. You know, they talk. I mean, you know, they do waiting talk. And this team list is another one. It is a no-go. But then it should not water than whatever has gone for. We expect deliverables. We expect things that will sound like, you know, prospect that will be made to see the light of the day. And just like somebody tweeted, no nation survives on its own, not even the U.S.
But do you think the president is groveling? Because a lot of people think these people really is as if
they didn't really want him. He was the one who pushed for it.
He was pushing for it. So do you think he was groveling to have them?
Maybe sometimes, even as let me use marketing because something I know a few things about. Even if you have a product to sell and they are telling, and you want to market in a company or in a firm, and they are telling you, no, we are busy today, we are busy tomorrow, or guy is not around, and you know what you know, and you have a product that you need to market, you will give it all it takes, you know, and maybe that is what he is doing. In as much you can establish that he is not for jamboree or playing to the gallery. That's why I said there should be deliverables. At the end of this thing, maybe by today or tomorrow, they should tell us what has been agreed and the timeline so that Nigeria can say yes. Not be saying
not just rhetorics, not just optics. I'll move on to the next conversation this morning. Pray for Tinubu, others, Marwa tells Nigerians, and that's the NTLEA boss, asking for Nigerians to pray for Mr. President, pray for Nigeria at this point. The Ramadan season, of course, we are in the Lent season for Christian, and of course, the Ramadan also is knocking closely. I think it should be starting on Saturday, there about 9th of March. And well, let's see reactions from Nigerians on this request by Mr. Marwa. It says, by Daniel Rega says, prayer is great, but that's not what will save us in this country. We keep repeating prayer points, but barely putting in the work to make a difference. Just as elections aren't won by opinions, change will not come by I decree and I declare. And at Dr. Naja Anthony says, stop making a mockery of God and Nigerians. Roll your sleeves and get to work to fix Nigeria from the mess you guys created. Francis Umbo says, you guys should pray, but as for me, I'll fast only in my dreams. Your thoughts, Femi? Of course, we also have seen or heard governors. The last one was Borno State Governor Babangana Zulum declaring a one-day fasting and prayer, saying we have to fast for our nation, for our state, against insecurity, against poverty, against this tension we have in the land. But Nigerians are saying, yes, we are not against prayer, but then let us see you doing the work.
Prayer works. I know it. I'm proof of it, and I still believe it. The Christ will return. That's my belief. But then we must understand the context. It was in the spirit of Ramadan that Buba Marwa was talking about. Okay, so what do people do in Ramadan?
They pray.
They fast and they pray. They meditate. They give alms. They be of help to people. That's what Ramadan is all about. You know, some of these good messages that are preached. And they are told not to just be good within that 30 days. They should be good going forward. So in the spirit of Ramadan, I agree But then do we have work to do? Enormous work to do. So what do we do after Ramadan? Going forward after that, okay, he's in charge of the NDLEA, but then he also has a right to his religious beliefs as well.
Yeah.
But this is what many persons will say, do your work. Leave the prayers and the religious tenets and everything to the clerics. Let them do that. You have a work to do. And he's one person, General Marwa retired, he's one person that many persons have applauded. Say, since he came on board, the fight against drug abuse and proliferation and transportation of harmful substances have reduced because they took the battle, to those guys, and they are not taking prisoners at all. And these are some of the things that people are applauding for. But we have enormous work to do, for us to even rub shoulders. Sometimes with African neighbors, don't let us even go global yet.
Yeah.
There are some things that you see, there are some things that you read, you watch about some African neighbors that they are doing, that you, with your belief of the African giant that you are, you know that you're not measuring up. This is what is consistent. And talk less of you now want to rub shoulders with maybe, people talk about China, that maybe they are not as religious. I don't believe it. They are very religious, but it might not be the orthodox religion that we are known for here. They have their deities, their oracles. When you watch their films, these things are there, but you need to seek these technological advances. I saw one yesterday, and I marveled. How do these people think? How do people construct, in China, they construct bridges in days. A makeshift bridge, by the way, not, like a bridge has collapsed, and people are going to work in the money. By the time they are returning, you have something to work on. I'm not talking about Paco, the one we do around here, somebody somewhere that will go and commission. I don't want to mention the name, but the name starts with a D, but I will not mention more than that. But these are the issues. Concrete, you see machine, as this one is doing this one is doing that one, and these are let us work. Do we have the brains as Africans? We do. As Nigerians, we do. But let us put in the work and let our leaders be working, and let them show us the working.
Yes, let them show us
and we as
the
followers as well. Let's do what is right.
Someone once said that people are going into space, going into the moon, and Nigeria, we cannot even boast of a Nigeria Air. I mean, we were supposed to have it in the last administration.
They gave you people
before it was Sirikad away. I mean, that's the English. Before it was added away.
It was Sirikad away. They gave you one. It was you people that said you didn't like it. So
all right, let's move on to our next. But these are not funny issues, really. These are
serious
critical issues that we should look into as a country. If we are called, or if we refer to ourselves as the giant of Africa, we should live up to our name.
Not just in old glory.
Exactly. And next story, Plateau State Governor is speaking here, saying Buhari left poor economy for Tinubu. Someone would say the blame game as it started. Of course, it has started. Buhari, for President Buhari's administration, it was, Goodluck Jonathan left a bad and very the worst dead economy, and we actually had that in our mouth for 8 years before he left, and now we have a new administration saying
at the time it was COVID.
Buhari at the time it was COVID. But let's just quickly take reaction. Uniquely Square says, I agree with you, but the current administration has made it worse instead of trying to fix it. The hardship is times 100 of what we faced during the previous administration. And at Yodeji, Kayode says, but a different narrative was pushed out during the campaigns. Why tell lies just to gain power? Now you got it. Where do we go from here? As Uniquely Square said, instead of apportioning blame, the presidency should look for a solution. And, Femi, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was campaigning, he said, I know what I'm coming here to do. I know what the economy is saying, and I'm ready for the job. Don't pity me. I'm ready for the job, I'm ready for criticism. And one would also want to say that when he was coming on board, he said he will continue from where President Buhari stopped. So if you are saying you met a dead economy or you met a very bad economy, are you saying you're going to make it worse? Because if you're now claiming that you were handed over a dead economy, are you going to make it deader? You know, in court now.
Thank God this is spring trend. So whatever we say here, don't take it too seriously. Some of those words that are coined, they are not as, if you are writing your wife and your neck, will be careful.
Be careful.
With these, but we talk about important issues, by the way. You know, it's trust politicians at your own peril. You know, it has gone to the point that if politicians, you are inside your house and the politicians will come and greet you good morning, better go check outside. If actually na money. These you know, and I like if we can just pull up that tweet that somebody talked about. Why push a different narrative? This is it. Almost every opposition person vying for office claimed the APC, they were cancer, they were cancerous, they were this and that, they are the worst in the history of the nation. PDP has, except the five musketeers, by the way, the G5, the integrity group, you know, they no be bat, they no be bed, they no be whatever, rat, rather. So they just, they where they did. So these are the issues. So now that they are in power, I don't want to say, Caleb move to and saying that, I don't want to believe that he's saying that from a place of excuse, a joint excuse, to say whatever is happening at the center is the one affecting us here, and at the state, and what is affecting at the center was caused by previous administration. Please, can they please move on from this thing? Nigerians are not buying it. It's not becoming popular. After like 5 years of Buhari's administration, that narrative was dead. How did you say it?
It's dead.
Was deadened. You know, these are the
deader than dead
issues. It can't fly. The CNC told us, I know what I'm coming for. Don't pity me. And President Bola Tinubu, we will not pity you, as we have said. I will support what you have said. We won't pity you. Please do your work. Excuses is not cutting it, especially when it's not reflecting in the paraphernalia of office that you guys are enjoying. It doesn't stop the Jeep. Somebody need 1.5 billion naira worth of cars in our fleet. She got it. But you need palliative, you need more money, you know, to support your small lifestyle that you are managing. They are telling you that there are some pains that you have to endure. You are not even asking for 1.5 billion.
The person who was renovating his, you know, quarters.
Lagos, the Dam Barrack, office of the vice president or resident needs to be, was the place leaking before? What are these issues that they can't see to? But then the economy are big. But you know where politicians, as I round up quickly, you should not even be careful around them. You have a few ones that maybe they do what is necessary. They've said that they inherited a bad economy, right? Months after they have come into this thing. Two things there. Do you know now? I've not seen President Tinubu said those things that those his handlers are saying. He hasn't, for once. Said he inherited a bad economy. It's his handlers that have been saying those things.
They speak for him.
That they are speaking for him, but he hasn't said that categorically. And number two, recently, Femi commissioned some autobiography about his boss. President Tinubu was there. Some of these handlers were there. They still spoke well about Buhari. So what exactly? Nigerian politicians.
No, but you know, it's not. They are not really laying the blames on Buhari. Now it's the former governor of CBN.
Former President Femi.
No, former President Femi, please. Former governor of the CBN. You know, he's the one being thrown under the bus because you're saying it's policies that
there are people that are blaming there are people that are blaming him. There are people that are blaming Buhari himself. You saw him like a month ago. You still praised him. He don't go back Daura. Una started. These are the issues. Una just walk.
That just speaks to the hypocritical nature of most politicians that we have around here. Let's move on to our next and final story for today. Is this a big deal? Just for the laughs, I mean, this is Spring Trends. Once you call me and keep talking to people in the background, I am hanging up. Reactions? Child Elf Hero says, it's not a big deal to me. I even do it sometimes, though the right thing is to do is to call back when your attention is undivided. Richie says, it's a big deal. If you are not ready to talk, don't call or pick up. Simple. And at CID Kageno says, not for me though, as long as you are the one that called, they waste your airtime, they go. Femi, what do you say? If I call you now and we're having a conversation and I'm talking in the background to another person and you are still clearly online, how do you feel? Do you think it's not a big deal?
I think many things can happen. There are some persons that have been trying your number and it's not connecting. So they keep trying and they are doing other things. You might have picked up and they don't know.
Yeah.
These are the issues. But it should not be like an habit. There are people that have the habit. They are talking to you and they are still distracted.
So, hello, Femi. So
you are there saying, can you hear me?
Help me bring this. And you have someone, it's
and
disrespectful.
It happens sometimes, especially when you are calling your superior, the kind of people that you cannot para for. And they are just there doing whatever they are doing. And they are telling you, hey, mumbo, and they give me something, give me something there. It happens. But then, you know, there are ethics and etiquettes, especially when making calls. When you're making calls, there are things you should do. When you're receiving calls, there are people that whenever they pick up a number and they don't have that number, they never say, hello?
Who is you?
Who is this?
That?
That's not making sense.
Who are you?
The moment they realize it's somebody big on the outside, and ask, oh, I don't know, me, no, that's not making sense. Why don't you answer very well, and you see that it's somebody that's even younger, and you say, oh, Adi, how are you? Than to say, I didn't know that it's you. I'm not like that. Oh, you know, you can't just rub off that impression of that person, especially now. And these are the things that we are talking about. But then it's not really a big deal. Some persons who hear you cut a call, that means possibly that it's not something important that you want to achieve. Yeah. Quickly, let me chip in this, producer, sorry. 15 seconds. There are many rules that people set. Yeah. But in the reality of things, you might not get to follow. Have you heard when some persons say you must not call people more than twice? Even if actually they are not holding out to your kidney, just call them twice. If you need something very importantly, or you go watch Champions League football on a Tuesday night, they don't lock you outside. And somebody is inside with the key. So you now call the person twice, and you are waiting outside the gate.
And Manchester lost, and you're a Manchester United fan.
Why must you mention Manchester United?
You really know that that night, you'll be so pained,
for Manchester United fans,
and all of that.
You are just staying on your own, and stray bullet is flying. That's a bad thing, by the way, for now.
But that's where we actually say our goodbyes. This is where we are going to say our goodbyes on the show, Spring Trends for today. Thank you so much, Femi, for always doing this with me. And
Femi, any view, please.
This is your title, And to you, our esteemed viewers, thank you for being a part of our
production team.
You know we cannot do this without you. To all of our production crew, thank you for doing this with us every morning. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei. Have yourself a good and productive day. Bye.
Adios.